So thanks all for joining this meeting. And in this free SAP session, we are targeting to introduce what all SAP is here to offer in terms of front-end technologies. So we are going to cover basics about UI5. We are going to cover basics about MT and CAPM. So the today's session will be taken by Deepak. Deepak Ram has more than 7 years of experience in SAP and other front-end technologies. So yeah, Deepak, you can get started.
Thank you, Rudra. Hello all, warm welcome to everyone. So we'll start off with the basics of UI5. Okay, it's good to know that most of you are from SAP background. So the contents of this session would be, we'll have a basic introduction of SAP. Okay, why SAP and what is the future of SAP? Why we are doing this? Why we want to get into this SAP community or the SAP technologies? I'll give you some basics of SAP UI5. Then we'll understand what is BAS, BTP, MTA, and CAPM. And then we'll have a short Q&A session with everyone with an open discussion. Okay. So what is SAP? So as most of you are already from SAP background, so it will be, you might be aware of this. So SAP itself is a software company, okay, which has a product which itself is called SAP ERP, right? Enterprise Resource Planning. System application and products in data processing. This is the full form of the SAP application. Okay, SAP. So it has two things. Itself is a company and it also provides a ERP solution to multi different companies, right? Why SAP? You being from SAP background already should be aware of that. SAP itself, the SAP community is so huge. It has multiple technologies. We have ABAP, we have CDS, we have HANA, we have UI5, we have Fury as a different sector than SAP UI5 custom application. So SAP itself is so huge that it gives you a wide variety of learning, right? And future of SAP is only growth. It's been growing from one multinational companies to another. And every big MNCs have SAP running on their software, running on their business, right? So in coming future, knowing more and more about SAP technologies is only going to give you a really big advantage in your career, right? So in a gist, it is multiple technologies, both front end and back end. It has latest innovations. It has a really wide client base and more than 100,000 associates working directly or indirectly with SAP, right? Some are SAP direct employees, some are third-party employees, some are contract-based employees, but it has a very large community, right? These are basically some companies that are using SAP. Is a very small list. The list goes beyond and beyond. Okay, so we have some familiar faces like Burger King, McD, Coca-Cola, Puma. Okay. Moving forward, we'll come to basics of UI5. So UI5 basically is a front-end technology. Okay, it's a framework that SAP has brought into our knowledge. It's a client-side HTML5 rendering framework based on JavaScript. To give you a small introduction of what is HTML5, what is JavaScript, and what is client-side. So in every software, there are two sides. One is the front end, one is the back end. Right? Front end is the one which is shown to the end user. End user is not supposed to see the back end. They are supposed to see the front end, the user interface. Right? That is where the user interacts. All the operations, all the form fill up or viewing of data, editing of data, modifying of data happens from the user to the front end or the user interface. It is called client side. And then those data are processed in the backend, right? With backend technologies. In backend technologies, we have ABAP, we have other technologies such as PHP, Node, Angular. So there are different technologies. So these are all come under backend technology. Okay. HTML5 is one of the largely known client-side technology. It's a coding language, hypertext markup language. Okay. This is the lowest level front-end technology that you can use to create your user interface. JavaScript, on the other hand, is a scripting language which supports HTML with dynamic data. Okay. UI5 is highly intuitive, responsive, and easy to use application. The technologies involved in UI5 is HTML, XML, CSS, JavaScript, and OData. Slowly, when you get into more into understanding of UI5, you'll get to know the purpose of each and every technology involved in UI5. What is HTML used for? What is XML used for? What is CSS used for? JavaScript, and what is OData used for? Okay. UI5 can be written in two of the editors, WebID and Business Application Studio. Nowadays, other open source code editors are also giving framework and plugins for you to develop UI5 on their own editors. But the widely used or officially used editors are WebID and BAS, which is Business Application Studio. The platform on which the UI5 runs on is on-premise and BTP. We'll come into BTP in a later slides. Okay, on-premise means on system in the client system. That's called on-premise. Okay, this is the basics of UI5. These are front-end technologies. You can use it to develop or showcase data to your end users. You can manipulate data. You can have a detailed or a very complex representation of your data, which is why SAP uses UI5 for representation of statistics or analytical data to the end user. UI5 brief, we have internet, we have protocols, we have browsers. These are the very basic, the pinnacle of UI5 or any front-end technology. You need to have an internet history. You have to have some protocols through which you transfer data and receive data. And then obviously, you should have a browser to run that application. Without browser, you cannot run a front-end technology. Okay. Then we have three of the coding languages, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And after that, a lower level, we have DOM, direct object manipulation, XML, and JSON. These are some lower level coding technologies that you can get to know if you want to get more into this UI5 session. Okay. Briefly, I want to explain you why UI5 came into picture with SAP. So SAP initially UI5 was not there with SAP. SAP had ERP solution and WebDyn Pro for the user interface. WebDyn Pro was used with a very old and outdated technology. It had just had HTML5 and the user interface was not very interactive. But that was the only technology or the user interface provided to the client. But as slowly everything around the world, everything in technology started evolving. Everyone wanted a better user interface, a very free, a very useful user interface. They all wanted user interface on the go. While traveling, they want to check the data. While flying, they want to check their data. It should be very quick and easy on the laptop and as well as on their phones. Then SAP brought UI5. Okay, it's called User Interface 5. It brought UI5 framework using which SAP people or SAP technology people can start developing applications which are very user-friendly and it is responsive on all devices, either laptop, either tab, or either mobile phones. Okay. That is why UI5 came into picture. SAP wanted to be in track with every development going on around the world. There's some main files for a quick start of UI5. Whenever you create a UI5 application, there are some files that are generated. Okay, some of them are very important, which if you get more into UI5, you'll get deeply and you'll have a better understanding of it. We have a manifest.json, we have app.xml, we have component.js, we have some controllers, views, and models. Okay, manifest by the word, it represents, it's a manifesto. In a real life scenario, manifesto means index or some routine or some description or details regarding a particular tool or a particular travel. Okay. In coding languages, manifest means in coding language, manifest means the settings, the versions that you are using for the libraries, all those information sits in manifest.json. It holds all your content, all your detailed instructions of the UI5 version that you're using, what are the libraries that you're using. Every information is in manifest.json. App view.xml is the first view that opens up, or it's also called a root view. And then we have component.js. It has some settings regarding compilation and binding each and every file to each other. Accordingly, we have controllers, views, and models. They also serve their own purposes. Right-hand side, we can see a folder structure where we have a root folder, web app folder. Then we have a few folders called controller, IE18N, local service, model, test, view, component.js, index.html, manifest, and test.html. This is a screenshot of Business Application Studio. This is one of the officially used editor for SAP UI5. It is a cloud-based application, and you can access this if you have a HANA Cloud access or a login. You can also opt for a trial login, which will give you access for Business Application Studio, and you can try out your practice or do your learning on this. Okay. Then we will now dive into some of the SAP UI5 application frameworks, or there are some different types of application that you can generate. Before moving to that, let me give you more information on SAP UI5, why you should get into UI5, why is it important, or it is very advantageous to learn UI5. It's because even though you know backend, ABAP, still UI5 gives you a good advantage on technology in your career, because every user, no matter in which community or in which organization or developing which technology, every user wants a user interface. Everything is on the go. Everyone wants everything on their phone in one quick look, right? And the only way to make it possible is by using a user interface. There are multiple open source technologies. There are a lot of coding languages that can develop a user interface for the user, which makes it very easy for everyone to access their data, which is sitting in some other part of the world, right? So user interface is the only thing that is visible to the user. It's something substantial, it's something real that you can see. The backend data, the backend structure, the backend logic, which is very important, but it's not visible to the user. So the only thing real to the user is the user interface or the application that they're seeing in hand. That is why UI5 gives you a very good advantage. It gives you a very wider scope in your career to get into a higher career opportunity. Okay. So UI5 has multiple types of applications that have newly come into picture, that are SAP MTA. SAP MTA stands for multi-target application. If you see, on the left-hand side, we have an image of the framework structure, which is SAP UI5 Fury, Node.js, Java SDK, CDS, which is Core Data Service, and then we have a HANA database. So basically, SAP UI5 basic application only gives you the advantages of developing a user interface application using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and XML. On the other hand, SAP MTA gives you a wider scope, a wider flexibility of application that you can develop. The complexity of application that you can generate using MTA is very vast. Okay. Because it incorporates Node.js, which is a very powerful backend engine. It gives you the advantages of Node.js technology as well as HANA DB in a single package. So SAP MTA wraps everything within the application. So now you don't have to have a separate database or separate backend or middleware that you need. Everything is compiled into one application, into one folder that you can move or deploy anywhere you want. That is the power of SAP MTA. Again, it can also be created using WebID and BAS. Also, some more editors, open source editors that provides you plugins or support for you to develop UI5. It is deployed on Cloud Foundry for packages consisting UI5, Node.js, CDS code, mta.yml file is used. When you generate SAP UI5, and then there is something that when you generate SAP MTA. SAP MTA, when you generate, it gives you extra files which is called mta.yaml. That is the code file that stores the settings of MTA. This is a very important file, and a lot of settings, a lot of deployment configurations are stored in this file. Just for your knowledge, don't have to get into deep, so don't let it confuse you. This is just an important aspect or the important file structure that you should be knowing regarding SAP MTA, which is mta.yaml file. Then we come to SAP CAPM. SAP CAPM stands for Cloud Application Programming Model. It has a bit different structure than SAP MTA. It has WebID plus local CDS, SAP Fury, Service SDKs, SAP HANA, and then we have platform services. Okay. The only difference between SAP MTA and SAP CAPM is that SAP CAPM again incorporates every technology like UI5, Node.js, and HANA Cloud DB. Plus, it also gives you the advantage of CAPM CDS. CAPM CDS itself can be encapsulated within SAP CAPM application. It is an upgraded version of MTA. Okay, because it's a very slight difference. CAPM and MTA doesn't matter for your project until unless you have a very specific requirement, in which case it is very mandatory that you have to create SAP MTA, or else you have to create SAP CAPM. Otherwise, it's a very thin line where SAP CAPM and SAP MTA come into picture with each other. It can be created using only BAS. You cannot create SAP CAPM applications using WebIDE. It is also deployed on Cloud Foundry, and it also has MTA YAML files along with other files like UI5 and Node.js files. Now let's know about BTP. So we heard about BTP in a few past slides. BTP stands for Business Technology Platform. BTP is a platform which gives you access to all these features like BAS, then you have database, then you can create destination, connections, all this configuration platform is Business Technology Platform BTP. It has your database and database management, SAP HANA, Cloud, Data Intelligence, Master Data Governance, Adaptive Server Enterprise. It gives you features or advantages of analytics, which is SAP Analytics Cloud, Data Warehouse Cloud, Business Object BI, Business Planning and Consolidation, BW for HANA. Okay. It also gives you application development and integration features, integration suite, extension suite, process orchestration, app driver, process automation. Plus, Because of rapid increase in AI technologies, it has also incorporated those new development within them as well, which is SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation, also known as IRPA, SAP Conversational AI, SAP Internet of Things, IoT, SAP AI Business Services, and SAP RWM. Okay. So we have quickly briefed you regarding what are the SAP, what is SAP, what is SAP UI5, what is the aspect of SAP UI5, what other forms of SAP UI5 technologies that you can develop, and what is the scope of your career opportunity if you get into SAP UI5. Hopefully this information was insightful enough for you to be a bit more intrigued or interested in your SAP UI5. Now I open the floor to everyone for a quick discussion, and we are here to give you answers on whatever doubts that you have.
BTP, you will be cover all these things, CAPM, BTP, all these things you will be cover.
Yeah, so I just to clarify, your question is BTP will include all these things, right? CAPM, MT, and everything. This is your question, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so BTP is basically a platform, or you can say a setting in a simple language. It's a settings and configuration platform where you can go and explore and start developing these things.
No.
Okay, so
As a web
yeah.
type developer, which things we should know? They're mentioning the have you worked on BTP? Then we are working on BAS. We can tell that yeah, we have knowledge on BTP. We can like that tell that
Yes.
or
Deepak, let me answer this question. Uh, so Himanshu, actually the thing is happening is like BDP is a very big platform. It is also called IaaS, Industry as a Service. It is also part of PaaS, Platform as a Service. It is also have a SaaS, Software as a Service. So it is very vast. It includes all these services. So you have a bit of knowledge of one of these service. It is a Business Application Studio. So actually you can tell in BTP you have this certain information, and in BTP you can cross ask questions like what exactly you need in terms of BTP, because they might need someone having knowledge of HANA cloud, which is also over BTP. They can need someone regarding CAPM deployment. So this is also over BTP. So yeah, the question can be like have a more description what exactly they need in terms of BTP. So yes,
okay.
with this knowledge you can tell that yes you know BTP, and you can ask them to be more descriptive regarding their question.
How many days your course scenario and how long it will be take?
Yeah, so this course will be 3 weeks long, in which we will be covering the basics of SAP UI5, and also we'll be covering BTP. And we'll give small information like how exactly you can write your UI5 coding in CAPM and MT as well, and how you can deploy your entire code after building it out over BTP. So this will include basics of BTP as well as CAPM and MTA. And it will be of 3 weeks, and the last week will be all over hands-on.
Okay. Like you are covering any project experience?
Yes. So we'll give you a demo of the projects that we have done in the past, and we'll showcase how exactly it is done. And in the last, an assignment will be given to you that will be based on real life projects that you can develop, and you can cross questions and learn from us, like what exactly is.
No.
Mhm.
Can you like everyone learning giving training? We are also given someone training. Okay.
Mhm.
Can you like do like one project end to end with like
Yes.
everyone
So
doing
yeah.
So
giving?
yeah, giving you more brief about the training. So what the training flow would be is like from day one, first we'll teach you on the technologies, which is HTML, JavaScript, okay, the basics. And then we will start with developing a project, okay. So I myself will be developing a project while training you. We'll go from one page to another till the project completes. And then in the last week, as a practice, you'll be asked to develop a end-to-end project also. So we make sure that even though we teach you how to make a project, we make sure that you are able to create a project from end to end and deploy it by yourself. That is the last practice session that we will take, and we will evaluate it as well.
Okay. No, no. My question is, you are studying one like you are doing like one project that should be like suppose you are doing like one end-to-end project. That scenario we can study us to like what's the starting from the HTML JavaScript, what is the
Yes.
flow to one project. It should be complete, is it?
Yes.
And I have also given someone to training, but I want hands-on. Okay,
Yes.
that is one end-to-end project.
Yes. We will tell you how to create your own login in BAS, how to create project, everything.
That
As I
things I
said,
know.
yes.
I need
As I
like
said, in the end of the week or in the end of training, we'll make sure you are able to, we'll make one end-to-end project in front of you. Plus, you will also be able to create an end-to-end project.
like it will be 3 weeks means like it will be evening time or morning time and or only weekend. How it is?
Himanshu, I can contact with you, and based upon your availability, we can plan a meeting, or we can
Yes.
plan a training session for you.
Okay, okay, okay.
Deepak, you can move to the next slide.
Also, you will be cover like CAPM also, is it?
So
CAPM will give you a
BS,
quick introduction how to create, but it won't be detailed on CAPM. Will not be included in the initial basics UI5 training. That you can, if you want, we can continue extra or extensive sessions for that topic. But again, it's on like as you require. So
Okay, okay. So tell me how you can plan. You can tell me, then I
sure.
can.
yeah, Himanshu, I will contact with you.
Yeah.
Gopi, Krishan, Roshan, do you have any questions?
Hi, good evening. So you were going to connect backend DB HANA Cloud, not ERP on-premise system.
No, we won't be connecting in this session. I mean, this 3 weeks hands-on training won't be connected to an ERP, but we'll be connecting to a OData service. Okay. So in
Okay,
UI5, you
where
only
you are
connect to
creating that
yeah.
data service in on-premise system?
No, that OData service will be using a free OData, open source OData service, which is Northwind OData service, and we'll be consuming it and we'll be showing it because it's a totally UI5 front-end training.
Okay.
If you require, so we have, as I said, all those topics. So we cover everything in SAP, right? So if you have a requirement of if you want to go further into OData creation or further into OData database creation on ERP, so those sessions again, as I repeat, will be on requirement basis. We can all those can be discussed. But this 3 weeks hands-on training that we are showcasing right now will include HTML, CSS, JavaScript, UI5 Basics. Then there comes when we create an application from the scratch. We teach you model binding. We teach you OData integration, smart tables, smart forms, how to integrate them end to end. One full application will be teaching you with all the operations, CRUD operations, create, read, update, and delete operations using OData in a real life application in practical. So it won't be a theoretical session. The theoretical part is within the first week where we teach you basics, and then we'll move on to practical sessions using actual BAS real life project.
Okay. Okay.
Any further questions?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's it, Deepak. I believe we have covered everything, and we can close this session now.